Hey everyone, welcome to my podcast Between the Lines with Bhagya, episode 3. Awaken Your Joy with Swati, who's a happiness and life design coach. We'll be talking about everything that I feel is not spoken about enough. So happy to have you all here. Stay till the end so you don't miss out on anything. It's going to be a very valuable, raw, authentic conversation. Let me introduce our guest speaker and a dear friend of mine, Swati Periwal. She's a women's self development coach, a keynote speaker, and facilitator dedicated to helping women reconnect with themselves, awaken their inner joy, and create lives that they truly love. After spending over a decade in the corporate world as an engineer, Swati chose to follow her passion for empowering women to grow from within. Today, through her signature framework, Awaken Your Joy, she helps women move beyond overwhelm, self doubt, and limiting beliefs to build confidence, clarity, emotional well being, and a strong sense of self. Her mission is simple to help every woman realize that she doesn't have to become someone else to live a fulfilling life. She simply needs to reconnect with who she truly is. Joy is not a destination, it is your natural state waiting to be rediscovered. Thank you so much, Swati, for joining, and it's a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you so much, Bhagya, for that wonderful introduction. You spoke my heart out, so it's a great start.
So happy to have you. And I'm sure this conversation is just going to flow and we're not going to notice how time is
Yeah.
flying.
So
Yeah.
excited, yes.
Yeah. So I want to start by asking, Swati, was there a defining moment when you realized that something had to change in your life? From being in the engineering and the corporate world to becoming a happiness and life design coach. How did that transition take place?
Okay. So, Bhagya, a little bit about me. I worked in the corporate for 12 plus years, and I grew professionally and personally. I have two little daughters, and my husband was into sales profile. So he was traveling and working so hard for us, but he was always not present.
Mhm.
So I think handling work and kids and so much of house management, it made me a very emotionally weak person. And being married and feeling lonely in my marriage was the feeling I was stuck with for a very long time. And I had family around me, to be honest, but nothing seemed to help. With family, I would share some things, but then there used to always be some sort of bias. And one fine day, I stood by myself after putting my children to sleep. After having a hard, exhausting day, I was standing alone in the balcony crying. And then I thought, how long am I going to keep living like this, feeling stuck? And then a thought came to my mind, who's going to actually help me? Who can actually help me get out of the situation that I'm truly in today? And that day, I realized that if someone had to help me, it was myself.
Wow. No
So
one's going to come and save you.
no
And
one is going to come and save you. And that is the fact that we as women are not ready to accept. I used to always look for happiness from the outside world. If
Mhm.
my husband came back home on time, if he's present in this, I used to equate happiness to someone else being there for me always. Then I said, no, I have to take a stand. I have to stand up for myself and start taking decisions that align with my life. So
Mhm.
12 plus years in corporate, doing massively well, successful career, a loving family, everything looked so beautiful from the outside. Superficially, if you see, I had it all, but
Mhm.
internally I was breaking down every single day. I was not able to handle the kind of juggling that we do as mothers and as a working mom. And then I said, no, I need to take a pause. I need to take a break from my corporate career, heal, align with myself, and create a life that, beautifully that aligns with me. And that was the day I took a decision to stop being in that victim mindset. And the day I decided it for myself, things started unfolding. I started joining a lot of programs with wonderful mentors that help you look at life with different perspectives, that help you, just connect with yourself and create a lot of self awareness. I think that's what was
Yeah,
working
and
with
it's
me.
also important to get mentors, right? Like, as much as you realize that no one is coming to save you, you don't also have to do it alone. It doesn't mean that we have to struggle and figure it out alone. There is help.
There
So,
is help. And it's just you connecting with the right people who can help you navigate. through that particular phase of your life. That's all was what was needed. And that day, a coach in me was born. But then I was just thinking, if I can be an educated working woman who can face so many challenges and still burn out silently, there might be so many other women who are not able to share this kind of
Completely.
ideas.
Yeah. I
So,
can imagine so many women listening to this podcast and like, that's me, they feel seen. So that's such a powerful story. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And this is the theme that I've also been reflecting on lately. Like, no one is coming to save us. And the second we realize that, it is heartbreaking, devastating. But the sooner we embrace and accept that, we actually become more open to getting help and figuring out what we need. So that hit home. Yeah, thank you.
thank you.
So you often say, how we see how women spend their lives filling everyone else's cup. Why do you think so many women lose themselves along the way? It comes with a good intention and spirit. We are givers. But then in the process, decades pass by and you realize, okay, my cup is empty. I've just been giving and giving and giving. So, to such women who feel exhausted, drained out, and burnt out, what do you have to say?
I think one core reason why women feel burnt out, Bhagya, is that we want to look at perfection in every role that we play, right? We want to be a perfect mother. We want to be a perfect person who's giving it all at work. We want to be able to manage our house perfectly. And that perfection starts eating us up.
Mm.
So, one thing that I would really want to say to every woman, that perfection is truly a myth. What we should look at is striking a balance between all aspects of our life. So, over giving, over explaining is all leaving us drained. But we just try to be present for our children in every situation. We try to be present at work, and a woman can't be at two places at the same time.
Mm.
So, a lot of times, a lot of women, don't like asking for help. For example, if you're working long hours in office, of course you will not be able to work peacefully if you know that things are not going well at home. So seeking help, outsourcing the kind of things that you can delegate to your nannies or seek help from your parents. Don't feel shy about asking for help. So that's one thing that women should definitely do, so they get some bandwidth for themselves. So what happens, we create internal conflicts. While we are at work, we are thinking about children. While we are with children, we are thinking, oh my god, I have so much work, this has to be delivered, and we are not fully present anywhere.
Yeah.
And then it makes us sad. You
Yeah.
lose the joy
There's
in.
guilt either way, and we're not able to enjoy what we have going on at that moment. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think being present is one of the most powerful things that we can do. And overgiving is something that we should stop at as women. So start choosing yourself. Put yourself, take a stand for yourself, and outsource the little things that you can to others and make your life simpler. I think you'll
Do
see
you
joy.
also think, when you mentioned this point where when you're at work, you think of home, when you're at home, you think of work. I
Yes.
don't think women give themselves the permission to just relax and let things be. I think men are really good at doing that. They're in one place, they don't think about anything else.
Exactly. So that's why they excel in that one thing. But then there are so many other things that are left in the background, which as a woman
Yeah.
you fill up, you
We
keep filling up.
yeah, we fill in all those gaps, and that emotional capacity then gets overstimulated, right? Like that's when you burn out. So,
That's where
but
overwhelm comes in.
why do you think women do that? Like, do you think it's the need to prove themselves or to feel like they need to do all of these things to feel accepted? Is there that sense of lack of self-worth that they feel like they need to be doing everything at the same time perfectly? Otherwise, they don't deserve that respect. Do you think it has to do with self-worth?
Definitely. I think a lot of role is played when, a woman does not love herself. She loves everyone else, but she forgets that, the relationship that you build with yourself is the
Right.
relationship that will be seen to your outside world. If you
Yes.
take care of your inner world, you become a happier woman. And when you're a happy woman, your family thrives. They just don't survive. So I think a lot of it is associated to how you love yourself. And by loving yourself, I don't mean by saying that, you need to spend time in spas only or have luxuries. But Give yourself the importance that you need to. Start respecting yourself, your energy. Rest without guilt when you're feeling tired. Don't
Right.
just keep overdoing things. Take out some time
So
for your physical activities and a lot of it.
when you say rest without guilt, so many women struggle with that guilt when they choose themselves. It's easy to say, okay, choose yourself, but then there's so much guilt that comes because of the conditioning where, women, it's for centuries, it's hard for us to just relax. So, what would you tell someone who feels guilty for taking that time for herself, and how do they deal with that guilt?
I think until I joined the leadership and the mentorship programs, I was one woman who struggled with guilt all my life. I used to see my husband go outside, work hard, and party harder. But
Mm.
the one day that I would want to step out with my friends, I used to feel like, no, who's going to look after them? Why should I be spending time chilling with my friends? I could rather take care of my kids. So that guilt comes in everything that we do. But then what I realized that, being guilty, feeling guilty is not wrong because women naturally are givers, right? We nurture, we have a womb, we carry children, so we are way more emotional than men are. Let's accept that fact. But how do we deal with guilt? We can always compensate guilt in better ways. For example,
Mm.
you're a working mother, you're giving 8 hours of your time to work. When you come and spend time with children, be present for them, spend that 1 or 2 hours unconditional, give them that energy that they deserve.
Quality over
Quality time.
quantity.
It's about quality versus quantity, right?
Right, right.
What is the point of being a mother who's always irritated, frustrated,
Mm.
who's snapping at kids?
Yeah.
And you might be spending the entire day, but what do they get out of it, right? They see a
Right.
tired mom.
Yeah.
So
And
sometimes
the
guilt
kids
does
feel
good.
like it's their problem. They might end up feeling like a burden, which is
They
rougher.
might, your house is never a happy home, but when you start choosing yourself, okay, I'm spending this 1 hour doing a Zumba class. And when you come back with renewed sense of energy, that happiness, and you pour in so much more love to the children. That's what they cherish, right?
Yeah, and also sometimes I think guilt will fade away with time. You can still do something and feel guilty because the conditioning is strong. So something I tell my clients is do it guilty rather than
Do
not
it.
doing it and regretting it later. Guilt will fade
Yeah.
away,
Fade away.
and
So it's a perfect emotion. All of us as women will
it's
carry guilt, but
natural.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Make peace with that guilt and
Yeah.
compensate in better ways is what
Yeah.
we can do in our
So
everyday
the
life.
guilt shouldn't stop us and
Yes.
do it with the guilt. I think that's a great conclusion.
Doing so, start choosing yourselves. It won't
Yeah.
happen overnight, but small things every day can really help you get over the guilt.
Right. And when we talk about taking 100% responsibility of our lives, and especially happiness,
Yes,
I feel like a lot of people wait for some external situation or opportunity to make themselves happy. They don't realize that they have the power to create happiness for themselves. So, can you talk a little bit more about that?
definitely. I think how I've been thinking about happiness till a while ago was like that. When I was in my corporate career, I always thought like the day I get this promotion, I'm going to be happy. Okay. Or I always thought like, when my children grow up, when they start doing things independently, I'll be happy then. Or when my husband comes back to me and says some good things about me or validates my feeling of,
Right.
how I felt exhausted the entire day, I'd be happy. But let me tell you, happiness is a way of living. It's not a destination that we are looking at, it's the journey. So, the things that I changed about myself, I stopped comparing happiness to a particular parameter. What I
Mm.
started doing is I started enjoying my everyday life. I started involving my children in my everyday activities. Like I'm doing a master class today. I would tell them, see, this is how a master class works. So now they know what mama is doing. She's
Right.
occupied for that particular. They'll honor that time.
Right.
So they start enjoying. You become a team that rather than conflicting each other in your way of growth.
Right. Instead of
So
just telling them, oh, I'm busy, and they
yes.
don't know why you're busy, or they think you're avoiding them, you don't love them. So at least now they're included.
Of
That's
course, they're young kids, right? Bhagya, I'll tell you one incident about my life. I was into a deep technical call one evening, late evening. There was no nanny and there was no one around me. And my little one was crying because she wanted mama. That day, the day, I just shove her off and I said, just leave the room, in a very
Mm.
bad way. And she felt horrible. And after that, I felt horrible as a mother. What am I doing to her?
Mm.
I'm not even explaining to her how important this is to me. How can I imagine that she'll understand my
Right, right.
situation then? So after that, I started empowering myself. before any important meeting, I used to discuss with my children that, see, I'm going to be busy for the next 1 hour, and these are the things that you can do while I'm busy.
Mhm.
So we all became a team, and everything started working seamlessly
So
for us.
they also feel included, and it's very thoughtful, right? Like you're giving them ideas, so it shows that you care about how they spend their time. Yeah.
Exactly. And what is happiness with in relationships, Bhagya? So there used to be times when my husband used to just say a sentence, and it used to turn into a big quarrel. And I used to spend the rest of the day crying and drooling over it, that
Mhm.
you are wasting your entire day. But once you stop giving the power for to someone else for owning your happiness, you would shift everything inside of you. You start becoming accountable for your happiness. He can't make you happy. The world can't make you happy. It's your duty. It's an inside job. So talk to you yourself in ways. If people find it difficult, how do I find out what makes me happy? There are simple exercises. Just take out a pen paper, create a joy list. List down 3 or 4 activities that give you joy. Just writing them down, you will see that answers, you yourself have the answers,
Right,
but
right.
you're looking elsewhere for the answers. So
Yeah.
let me tell you a definition of joy. What is joy? I've zeroed it down to something. J stands for just, O stands for own, Y stands for yourself. Just own
Wow.
yourself, and you will see that joy comes back to your
So,
life. So,
wow. That's incredible.
I mean, I kept looking for answers. Then, I figured it out. The day you start owning yourself, the day you take charge of your happiness, is the
Mhm.
day life starts unfolding in beautiful
Wow.
ways.
Yeah. And it's so simple. We have all the answers within. We know what makes us happy, but we want someone else or some other situation, some other external opportunity, external validation come and make ourselves happy. And the problem by doing that is we'll have to keep waiting because we never know when that day will come. But if we own our happiness, then we can manifest, we can create it whenever we want, right? Like it's a
Exactly.
superpower. It's
You
like a
feel so
magic.
empowered.
It's a
That's
magical
real
skill.
power.
Yeah, 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 100%, 100%. I really resonate with that. I love that. Just own yourself. This should become a t-shirt. You should have a merch to that thing.
Exactly. This is put on my board. Whenever I feel low, I read this and I'm like, yes, let me just be me. Let me do things that, work for
Yes.
me, right? And I feel
Yes.
so happy after that. It's simple.
Wow. Yeah. What are some of the biggest myths about happiness that you think people believe in?
So, first thing, Bhagya, we think that, having a positive mindset all throughout means you will be happy. See, we are humans, right? We'll have all sorts of emotions. So, per day, I think there are 60, 70,000 thoughts that cross our
Mm.
mind. But the real happiness lies in choosing the right things for yourself. So, suppose you have a negative thought, you'll feel like you have stiffening of chest, or you're breathing very
Right.
hard. But what happens if you try to hold on to some positive thoughts? When you have positive thoughts in your mind, or it's a practice that you need to do every day. What happens? So your brain sends some signals to your body, like it releases those hormones, the dopamine, the serotonin, oxytocin, all of that flow to you. You feel calm. Your nervous system feels relaxed, and then your body sends back those signals to your brain, and your body saying that I'm feeling safe. Everything is all right, like all is well.
Mm.
And then that becomes your reality. So happiness is a myth saying that that it comes to you easy. No, it comes to you by practice. It comes
Yeah,
to
it takes
you
work.
by, yes, it's a lot of work every day, and it's an inside job. You start thinking right for yourself, and you start getting those vibrations in your body, and you will see that no one thing can be associated to happiness. Like, if I have so much bank balance, I'm going to be happy. No,
Not an end result, right? Like you said,
not
it's
an
not a
end.
goal. It
Not a
happiness is
goal.
not a goal. It's
You
the
work hard
process itself.
towards your goal. You take small, consistent actions every day. Suppose I want to lose a couple of kilos. But if I just keep thinking the day I lose those kilos is the day I'm going to be happy, no. As
Mm.
a woman, we have to start taking small actions that align with us. Take out time for yourself. Go for a small walk. Start small, because nothing
Right.
changes overnight for you. But
Yeah.
once you start building consistency in life, I think all of your desires will get fulfilled, and you'll move closer to your
This
goals.
is kind of like a bitter truth where we think, oh, I can make myself happy. It sounds all fun. But I know it takes work. It takes a lot of discipline and courage actually to keep showing up, ask for help, and do that work. But it makes it worth it at the end of the day when you start
That's what
owning
you start enjoying
it.
the journey, it becomes a part of you. And then you will not realize when you reach your destination. So
Right.
that's how happiness works.
Yeah, and if you're not doing this, then we are comparing with other people. We get bitter, resentful, jealous, envious. So better than sitting with all
Exactly.
of these emotions, we can deal with the discomfort and by leaving our comfort zone to do what makes us happy, to deal with that guilt, that shame. So this is so much more worth it, right? At least we are benefiting out of it, and
That's right.
it adds to our joy. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really deep, Just think for it, Happiness should come from within you. It's how you deeply connect with your soul.
But like what I feel like people have to reach that level of frustration and they have to have suffered so much before they realize, you know what? I think I need to start doing something for myself. Because even if you go and tell this to 10 people, how receptive are they? How ready are they to actually accept this as a fact and make that change? For those who are stuck in victimhood, unless they realize that they want this change or they're tired of suffering, if they're not going to do this work. So as a coach yourself, have you come across people like that where they're just stuck in victimhood, and how do you deal with people who just love to complain?
I just love this question of yours, Bhagya. I am the biggest example sitting right in front of you. A woman who was stuck in victimhood for the longest time. There was one point when I thought nothing can change my mindset. When somebody spoke about healing, when somebody spoke about thinking positively, somebody spoke about taking actions. I just felt like, no, this is my life. I have to keep working. I have to keep taking care of my children. I lived on autopilot for the longest time until the day I decided to start incorporating small activities that can help you revive your brain. So, three things that I started doing that really shifted my life, Bhagya. One thing was writing gratitudes. Just a simple practice. I would take out a book and write three things or five things that I'm feeling grateful for, and just writing them took me about 5 minutes a day. But when I completed 21 days of writing gratitude, I can assure you that my perspective changed many folds. I stopped looking at what I lack in life. I started looking at
What
how
you have.
much what you have. So your mindset moves from lack to abundance, right? It's a shift in mind. And then I started respecting my partner. I started respecting his efforts, that he's working so hard for us and that's why he's not available. Otherwise, that used to become a point of conflict all throughout, right?
Right.
So I think these are the small practices that can really help you. One thing is gratitude. I feel not just a woman, every person on this planet should practice writing gratitudes.
It's so
Otherwise,
simple. It's such a simple exercise, but so
it's such a
powerful.
simple, but it's very empowering. You just start looking at, you're able to breathe, you have food on your table, you have a healthy body, and still you complain about everything that you don't have, and that becomes a part of your nature. So gratitude changed a lot for me, honestly. Second thing that really worked was I stopped giving excuses. I stopped complaining, saying I don't have time. All of
Mm.
us have equal time, but it's your choice. I started taking out half an hour of me time for myself, and in that me time, I started doing things that I enjoy.
Right.
Even if it meant workout, it didn't mean like, okay, I have to build my body, like, go to hit the gym. Just take a half an hour walk, listen to good music. It really helps.
Mm.
So, gratitudes, me time, and starting, one powerful thing that I started doing, Bhagya, was starting to forgive people. So, when I joined those programs that all of the mentors, I learned about one technique called as Ho'oponopono.
Yeah.
So, it helps you release your grudges, the heavy emotional
And
load
also
that
with
you
ourselves,
carry.
right? Forgiving our past selves, most important in
Forgiving our
our
past
relationship.
self,
Yeah.
if we are living, we all have challenges because life is not fair. Life throws different challenges at you every single day.
This reminds me of this quote: life is fair because it's unfair to everyone.
Exactly. That may be true. Yes, so that's how
Yeah.
life is. And it's about how you embrace yourself, how you forgive yourself. For example, and this is going on the record, but for the longest time, I was holding a grudge against my mother-in-law because she was so occupied with her daughters and everything when I needed support with my younger children, right? So I needed a lot of help, and I felt like I have no support around me, and it used to deplete me, and it only created distance between her and me. Then one fine day, I gave it another story. You have to rewire the FSFA that we learned. Then I
Yeah.
said that, my
Can you
father-in-law.
abbreviate the FSFA?
Um, FSFA, full form, I also don't remember now, but
Yeah,
I
but I kind of I remember the exercise, yeah, but I
feel
forgot.
act, it's just basically rewriting it to give it another story.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what I gave the story to myself was this, that my father-in-law passed away a year before my wedding, and of course she needed time to heal. She needed to accept her core responsibility became her daughters. When you have unmarried daughters, you will want to help them in every way, be present for them. So that was the time I was having children and she was not available for me. But I could not understand this back then, that she needed much more time to heal. Maybe she was using this period to just get back to her normal self. And that's why she was not available for me. The day I accepted that that was our reality, today we have immense love for each other. We have so much respect for each other and we understand each other better. So, what was
Wow.
the point of holding on to all the grudges?
Right,
I
you
could
shifted
carry
your
it.
narrative.
I shift the narrative. I could have, kept the same feeling for the rest of my life also. But would it do any good to my family? Would
Mhm.
my husband ever be happy? Or would the children even enjoy their grandma? None of it could be
Because
possible,
there's
right?
otherwise there's so much bitterness, right?
There's so much
And
bitterness,
yeah,
and at the end of it, family, you are not at peace when you're wanting to help the entire world. Help yourself and your family
help your
also
family
first.
first.
Exactly. Help your situation
Charity
first.
begins at home.
Priority begins at home. So these are the
Yeah.
small things that have really helped me change the dynamics of my house, Bhagya. So
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing so personally. I feel like that's what makes people connect. You're not just giving advice, but you're like, hey, this is what happened in my personal life. And I thank you. So it means a lot. Like, especially my podcast, the goal is to have authentic, vulnerable conversations. And I'm so glad you feel safe. And, it's an honor to hear your stories. Thank you for
such a
trusting the
privilege,
voice.
Bhagya, that you're doing it, connecting so many women, so many people, who don't have the voice to speak it out. But
Yeah.
finally, we've understood so much and we are so willing to help others. I think it's a great
Yeah.
message
And
for
when people hear, like when you're sharing so vulnerably, it gives them permission to validate their experience. It gives them the courage to try. And I know we can keep going on and on, but I want to ask you something about toxic positivity. When we speak about, making ourselves happy. So how do you, um, let's talk a little bit about navigating emotions that are not very pleasant. Anger, sadness, grief, hurt, jealousy, right? Like when we speak about happiness, I don't think we can truly be happy if we don't give room and validate all the other emotions, even if it's not always very pleasant. We can't be toxically positive all the time. So, as a
exactly.
happiness coach, like, what would you tell someone? How can they embrace all these emotions and find happiness in embracing even the so-called ugly emotions, right?
A beautiful question, Bhagya. I think the real shift in life is when you deeply accept your situation. Deep acceptance is the key for you to be able to solve a lot of problems in your life. So I have a twin, but our lives are parallel. Like, the things that happen to her don't happen to me, and the things that I happen to me is not a part of her life. So what we do constantly in life is also we constantly keep comparing our lives to others' life, and it is only making us feel worse, right? So we are looking at somebody else grow and getting jealous. These are the feelings which are very natural to come, but it's how you do not give these feelings a place in your heart. You learn something out of it. And then what happens, even in marriages, Bhagya, a great marriage is not a perfect marriage where two perfect people are coming together, right? A great marriage is a marriage in which imperfect people come together and still learn to enjoy their differences. That's how
Right.
you build relationships. That's how you accept your partner's nature, your shortcomings, and still flow with life.
So,
So
accepting all varieties of emotions, experiences.
accepting everything is the case. You have toddler kids or you have breastfeeding children, and then you want to be comparing yourself to somebody else's 10th chapter.
Hmm.
You're obviously going to feel horrible
Yeah,
because
because you're sleep deprived, your needs are
you're sleep
not met,
deprived,
and
your
couldn't
energies are
imagine.
going.
Yeah.
Exactly. But as women, we are not able to accept that, someone else's 10th chapter is not your current
Right,
chapter,
right.
right? So,
So we
so
have to
acceptable.
validate our complete experience and
You
accept
have
that.
to validate, you have to learn to take a pause, to step back in a certain phase of life and figure it out. Eventually everybody will figure it out. Your support system, like today, you and I can be on the call, we have someone to look after our kids, right? So once you figure it out, it works for you. But until then, just hold the ground, accept your reality, and stay present. So
Yeah, and be compassionate to yourself, right? Like
Be compassionate.
if you do not understand what you're going through, then who is going to understand and support? So yeah, that's so important. And
The way you
I
speak
think
to
we should
yourself,
do
Bhagya.
I think we should do another podcast on being a mom and dealing with all the emotions, unmet needs, and that's a whole other topic. I yeah, it's segueing into that, but we'll have another podcast about that. What is your mission as a happiness and life design coach? Where do you see this going? And yeah, share a little bit about your future vision.
Yes, I think my mission is very simple, Bhagya. I want women to be able to rediscover themselves. And mainly, I want women to wake up happy, not treat life as a burden. When you wake up feeling motivated, wake up feeling thankful for the life, and wake up, feeling intentional about your life. Every woman should be able to make her pain her purpose. Like you learn something. Don't treat pain as a punishment. Treat
Hmm.
it as a teacher. So we all go through so much in life, but these are phases and we outgrow them and learn something and be able to contribute in the world. So I want
Yeah.
every woman to be able to develop herself, accept herself, and my mission is this, like you don't have to keep proving your worth to everyone, right? You don't have to keep looking for external validation. Validate yourself, honor your feelings, and you see life unfold for you. I had so many receiving blocks, Bhagya, because if something good happened to me also, I used to think, do I deserve it?
Right.
Am I
Oh my
worthy
God,
of
this is
it?
so true.
So a lot of things, good things used to happen, but opportunities I used to let go of, feeling small about myself.
And then we complain nothing is happening.
So I think the real power lies in your hand. Every woman has the power to shift and design her own life and to make her
Yes.
choices. And that's where I want to empower women, to be the
Lovely.
best
So
version of themselves.
amazing. I'm all smiles. I'm so happy to hear all of
I
this.
thought
So
my mission is
true.
very simple. Maybe I'm not able to solve others' problem, but I can give them a different perspective of looking at
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And small things that can make a big difference.
Yeah, like get out of that survival mode and actually start living, embracing, and loving yourself and wake up happy. I think that sums it up. You wake
That's
up.
Yes, that's my vision. Wake up happy. Don't wake up feeling sluggish. Be excited for your day. Just, get 5 things that you want to accomplish. Don't look at completing everything. Don't look at
Yeah.
perfection.
There's no rush, right?
There's
There's
no
no rush.
rush.
I
Breathe,
think I needed
enjoy.
this conversation also because I'm like, I've been working so hard and I have some goals I'm working on, but this whole conversation is just so reassuring. Like, nah, just celebrate how
Celebrate
far
your
you
small wins, Bhagya.
Yes, yes.
Every time I achieve something, no, even if it means, last year, until last year, I used to struggle for sending my kids to school also, sending both of them in the bus, early morning tantrums and everything. Now I'm able to do it so flawlessly. And I kind of celebrate that. Once I send them to school, I feel accomplished. It's a nice feeling to have,
Yeah.
no conflicts, children going happily. These are small wins in your
And you're
life.
able to notice that. I think it's important because you're able to notice that, oh, this is something that I was struggling with before and it's become easier to deal with. So it's not that you let it go by and, you know, you're cherishing these moments and that makes you feel like, wow, I'm such a fulfilled life. I feel content.
Yeah,
So,
so now I'm not seeking validation from anyone else. I feel good about it. I'm
yeah.
validating myself. You're not a perfect mother, but you're doing good. You deserve it. Like, you're worthy of this. I keep reaffirming these things in my mind, and I can feel the abundance portal, open up, and universe blessing me in ways that I never imagined.
Wow. Wow. Finally, if you could leave every woman listening to this podcast with one message, what would it be? What is one message you want to give? I know the whole conversation has been a big message, but like in
I just
conclusion,
want every woman to believe in herself. That's all.
yes,
It's simple. Just love yourself, believe in yourself. You're worthy just as you are.
yes, beautiful, beautiful. Letting that word sink in. So beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, and for your vulnerability. And yeah, for all the listeners, do share your takeaways in the comments and in the group description. In the YouTube description, I will be sharing our Instagram pages so you can stay tuned for more updates and follow along. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Two
What's
more
your health,
podcasts
Bhagya? Thank
together.
you so much for having me over. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.